Okay, so I sat here and I've been thinking for a second. Well, not really thinking, I've been more like going on my phone and everything. Looking through my phone, looking through the news and everything, the wrestling news sites. And I've been seeing that Jinder Mahal is going to fight Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. I mean, not for the WWE Championship. This is going live, by the way, so if you guys see it live or not, I really don't give a fuck, honestly. But Jinder Mahal is going to be fighting Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Not for any championship, but just traditional Survivor Series match and everything. You know, that's cool. But I sat down and I thought to myself, well, first of all, Jinder Mahal doesn't stand a chance against Brock Lesnar. So this is not going to make the WWE Championship look credible at all. And when you sit down and think about it, you're just like, well, has Jinder Mahal really made the WWE Championship credible? Like, has he really been a good champion? And the answer is, hell no. He has not been a good WWE champion at all. And I'm here to explain why he has not been a good WWE champion. And you know, this really isn't a dig at Jinder Mahal. This is not me saying that I hate Jinder Mahal, that I think he's a terrible wrestler. And no, that's not it at all. I mean, I don't think he's a good wrestler. I don't think he's a bad wrestler. I just think he's kind of there. And first of all, his promo skills, that's the one thing I can knock him on. His promo skills are fucking abysmal. So, let's be honest here. Promo skills are abysmal. Wrestling skills are meh. They come off as kind of 70s, 80s-ish. Like, he has that style that kind of looks like it belongs in the 80s, not in the modern day. And I know how people think that I expect wrestlers to be super technical wrestlers where they can wrestle a fucking broomstick. They can be skinny, lean, has to be doing flippy shit. And no, that's not what I expect out of a good wrestler. The Undertaker was not that type of good wrestler, and he's my favorite wrestler of all time. Triple H wasn't that type of wrestler, not even close. And he's my second favorite wrestler of all time. So do not think that I'm one of those guys that thinks that that wrestlers should be like that. I'm not one of those indie nerds that think that. So anyway, let me just sit here and explain why Jinder Mahal is probably one of the worst WWE champions of all time. Well, for one thing, honestly, Jinder Mahal, let's just say this, his reign has been boring as hell. I mean, his promo skills, like I said, his promo skills aren't really all that great. I'm going to get to that in a second, by the way. I'm going to tear into his mic skills in a minute. But another thing about Jinder Mahal is that his matches are not really all that spectacular either. When you sit and think about it, his only two opponents for the WWE Championship in pay-per-view matches, that is, has only been Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. And none of those matches have been above subpar. I mean, most of Jinder Mahal's matches have been either subpar or shit anyway. But when it's for the WWE Championship, you expect a lot more from it. And on top of that, Jinder Mahal, literally none of the big SmackDown pay-per-views had him main eventing their events. I mean, Hell in a Cell recently had Jinder Mahal like not even the final act. I mean, yeah, there was a Hell in a Cell match with Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon, but that just shows how much faith SmackDown has in Jinder Mahal when he's not even like the main event for a big pay-per-view like that. I mean, and most of the pay-per-views that he has main evented in have been shit. I mean, have you not realized that? Backlash wasn't good. Money in the Bank wasn't good. Battleground was definitely shit. I mean, all the main event matches that he's participated in, usually that pay-per-view was shit. So that also kind of reflects on his championship reign. When your championship reign pretty much consists of subpar to flat-out shit matches, I mean, what else can we really say about you that you're just not a good champion? I mean, say what you want about JBL, but at least he actually gave us good matches out of his championship reign. He had great matches, well, not great. He had good matches with The Undertaker. He had good matches with Eddie Guerrero. And his matches with John Cena were pretty entertaining. So, I mean, and also Triple H's reign. Let's take that for example. We also had good matches from his reign too. Him facing Shawn Michaels. His match with Goldberg was pretty entertaining in my opinion. And, you know, a lot of his matches, with the exception of his match with Scott Steiner, and even his match with Booker T was pretty good to me, even though I didn't like the angle at all, obviously. And I honestly think that it could have been, the ending could have been handled a lot better. The match was pretty good in my opinion. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. But Jinder Mahal, so far, none of his matches have impressed me at all. And, you know, when it comes down to it, he's just one of those guys where he doesn't feel like he belongs in the main event. Especially since not even a month before he won the WWE Championship to begin with, he got his ass mowed over by an NFL player. I mean, an NFL player that most wrestling fans, most hardcore wrestling fans, probably don't give a shit about. I mean, I didn't give a shit about that football player. Mainly because, for one thing, I don't really give a shit about football in general. But still, I couldn't give a shit that he went in there and ran Jinder Mahal over. And on top of that, he lost the fucking match. The Andre Giant Battle Royal, whatever the fuck that match is. That worthless ass match. He lost the match to Mojo Rawley. And Mojo Rawley is honestly, in my opinion, one of the worst wrestlers in WWE today. He lost the Andre Giant Battle Royal to Mojo Rawley. He got eliminated by Mojo Rawley. And then not even a month later, he won the WWE Championship. Like, where is the connection here? Like, how do you go from point A to point B so fucking quickly? Like, how do you go from being in the lower card of WrestleMania to now main eventing SmackDown? Like, that doesn't really add up all that much. I mean, yeah, this reign really does remind me of JBL. And yes, I keep on bringing up JBL's reign because this reign is very similar. Mahal's reign is very similar to JBL's reign, in which, for one thing, Mahal's a chicken shit heel. So is JBL. When he should be a legitimate tough guy. Same thing with JBL. His reign has pretty much brought down ratings and ticket sales from what I've seen. So did JBL's. Like, that's why I'm comparing it. And he's probably going to drop it to someone that we probably don't want him to drop it to. Same thing with JBL. So, you know, that's why I'm comparing him to JBL so much. But anyway, let's get back to JBL. JBL was in the mid-card for WrestleMania 20. And then he all of a sudden jumped from the mid-card WrestleMania 20 to being the main eventer of SmackDown. You know, the difference between JBL and Mahal's reign was that JBL, at the very least, had a gimmick change on top of that. JBL went from a brawler named Bradshaw, a guy who just liked kicking ass and drinking beer, which that's pretty much Stone Cold's gimmick now I'm thinking about it. But anyway, he was a part of this badass team that everybody loved called the APA. Always Pounding Ass. That's the actual name of the team. No matter what WWE likes to call them now, but that was the original name of the team, Always Pounding Ass. So he went from that to a Texan billionaire who hated immigrants, which that wasn't a part of his gimmick after a while because it became controversial. That was his gimmick. And Jinder Mahal, honestly, did not have any sort of gimmick change. The only thing that he had changed kind of to his gimmick was the Sin Brothers I mean, that was the only thing that was added to his gimmick, was that the fucking Sin Brothers were a part of his team, and that didn't really add much to his character. I mean, honestly, nothing really changed from that. I mean, honestly, the Sin Brothers, while I'm on the subject of the Sin Brothers are the two most annoying creatures I have ever fucking seen on WWE television since Vicky Guerrero. And I love Vicky Guerrero, personally. I think she really deserved everything she got in WWE. No, not the personal insults. I mean, like, the job she got, general manager and everything. But the Sin Brothers, they're so fucking terrible. I mean, I don't really know. Just even hearing them talk, like, for 30 seconds, when I see these 30-second promos from Jinder Mahal on social media, just hearing these guys calling Jinder Mahal the modern-day Maharaja, like, I don't really know how they say it, and I'm not making fun of how they do it. I tried to mimic what they did, and it obviously failed. So, move on. But these guys are just agitating. I don't really know about them. I mean, every time I hear one of these guys talk, or I even see them on my TV, I just want to go to the arena and bash one of their heads in. Either that or just change the channel. Every time I see these three guys on TV, on SmackDown Live, I want to change the channel so fucking badly. And you know what? That's what it comes down to it at the end of the day. When a hardcore fan, someone that will give WWE their money and their ratings no matter what, wants to change the channel, doesn't want to watch one of their products because of their world champion, or their the Sin Brothers, or whatever the fuck you call them, because of them. When a hardcore fan doesn't want to watch the WWE product or your product because of your world champion, that's an issue. Like, you should really reconsider having this man as your world champion. Honestly. I mean, Jinder Mahal, he does have heat. I will admit that. A lot of people don't like him. I'm going to admit that. However, Jinder Mahal's heat in WWE is not, and I repeat, not the right type of heat that someone should have. Jinder Mahal has that type of heat, that he has that Michael Cole kind of heat, where every time you see him on your television screen, you reach. You literally try to grab the controller like this. Give me anything. I'll give you anything to get this guy off my TV. That's the kind of heat he got. He doesn't have the you're a heel, so rules dictate that I should fucking boo you, or I hate you because you're an asshole. No, I don't like you. I don't want you on my fucking TV screen, and I'm about to change the channel and not watch again if you continue to show up on my TV screen. That is the type of heat that Jinder Mahal has, and that is not good at all. At all. I mean, seriously, and another thing that really bugs the shit out of me about Jinder Mahal as the WWE champion, besides his shitty promos, besides his subpar matches, is that he is a chicken shit heel. Now, the thing about chicken shit heels, that's probably my least favorite type of heel. Honestly, that's definitely my least favorite type of heel. It's the guy that pretty much has to run away from a fight, no matter what. I mean, no matter who the opponent is, every time they even give them the slightest bit of trouble, they either have to run away, or they have to have some outside interference to beat the said threat. That's what Jinder Mahal has done pretty much his whole reign. If it wasn't the Sin Brothers, it was the random ass return of the Great Khali, who nobody wanted to see to begin with, other than other than his friends in India. That's literally the only reason. In fact, honestly, that's the only reason why WWE put the championship on Mahal to begin with. So don't give me that bullshit saying, oh, Jinder Mahal, you put the championship on him because the Indian market is so special to us. Well, you know what? By that logic, the Singh brothers should be WWE Tag Team Championships. And anyone that is watching this, please don't give WWE that kind of idea. Because if that happens, I guarantee you, people will legitimately change the channel from SmackDown. And that will be the death of SmackDown if the Singh brothers become the WWE Tag Team Champions. So, the thing about chicken shit heels, guys like Triple H, guys like Ric Flair, guys like, I'm sitting here ranting for 20 minutes about this shit. Holy shit. Guys like Triple H, guys like Ric Flair, guys like even Seth Rollins. Those were chicken shit heel champions. But at least they had the charisma and the ring skill, or the ring skill, give or take, depending on your preference. At least they have one of those two things to make it work. Jinder Mahal, I hate to say this, has neither one of those two. He doesn't have charisma, he doesn't have good mic skills, he doesn't have good ring skills, and his character is kind of shit. I mean, when you sort of think about it, when you sit down and really think about it, his character is kind of shit tier. I mean, what is he? A foreigner? I mean, an Indian? No, I'm not making fun of his race, obviously. I mean, what is his character? The only thing to his character is that he's a rich Indian that hates America. Okay. I mean, that's not really that big of a deal. I mean, that kind of comes off as a ripoff of the Iron Sheik. Even though the Iron Sheik isn't Indian, he is an Arab. It's kind of the same thing. Like, he's a rich, strong Middle Eastern that hates America. I mean, that's not really much different from Muhammad Hassan from the Iron Sheik. I mean, that's really not much different from even fucking Sergeant Slaughter. And he was an American that betrayed America for Iraq. This whole thing really isn't much different from those gimmicks. And that kind of doesn't really make sense because Jinder Mahal is a fucking Canadian. So, that's kind of my main issue with this. Is that, I don't know, Jinder Mahal, WWE never really had faith in Jinder Mahal as WWE champion. You can kind of tell from the way they book him as the world champion that they don't really have faith in him. I mean, he rarely has matches on SmackDown. And he rarely even... Sometimes he doesn't even show up on TV at all. I mean, just this past Friday... I mean, not Friday. Just this past Tuesday, he didn't show up. And yes, I know the reason why he didn't show up. He fucking had to go to an Indian tour. I mean, to a tour in India, which good for him. He gets to get that one pop that he's probably never going to get unless he goes to India or Canada. I mean, he barely gets a reaction outside of Canada and India. Like, he doesn't really get booed and he doesn't really get cheered. Everybody just kind of sits like this when when you hear his entrance music. That's pretty much how everybody reacts whenever he shows up. I mean, they don't boo him, they don't cheer him, they just kind of sit there. And you know what? Whether the champion is a heel or a face, that should never happen. At all. That is abysmal for a WWE champion to get that type of reaction. Just silence. Nothing. And you know what? Unless Jinder Mahal improves his ring work, which I highly doubt that's going to happen, or unless Jinder Mahal improves his mic skills, which I highly doubt that's going to happen, and or unless Jinder Mahal gets a better opponent, I mean, honestly, his only hope now is AJ Styles. Which, going back to the Shinsuke Nakamura thing, I'm not sure if I already said this, but if Shinsuke Nakamura can't work magic with you, you are a lost hope. Shinsuke Nakamura did not have a single good match with Jinder Mahal in his 2 times that he's faced him. So, like I said, once you can't, if if Jinder Mahal can't have a good match out of you, can't get a good match out of you, you're honestly a lost hope. There's nothing left for you at this point. I mean, at this point, I don't even think AJ Styles could carry him to a good match. And AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Hell, I don't even think Daniel Bryan in his prime could have done it. That's how mediocre of a wrestler Jinder Mahal is. At least Roman Reigns can be carried to a good match. At least Roman Reigns can have a good match with someone that is a good wrestler. Jinder Mahal, apparently he can't do that. I mean, and that's just sad. Honestly. But, you know, like I said, unless he runs into a better opponent, which from what I heard, his next two opponents are going to be AJ Styles and John Cena, which, good God, when John Cena faces him, you already know how good that match is going to be. And, you know, unless he gets better opponents, like an outside source kind of opponent, like fucking Sting or somebody like that. I mean, unless he can get like a big credible victory, or unless he gets big credible opponents, he's going to be labeled as one of the worst WWE champions of all time. And you know what? That's just kind of sad. I mean, it doesn't really piss me off. It doesn't really make me want to flip my table or anything. This is kind of depressing, because Jinder Mahal, I think, he deserves this though. He's worked his ass off too, or at least he's tried his best to get to where he's at. I mean, he's worked his ass off, like I said, but you know, he doesn't really have much to show for it. I mean, this WWE Championship reign, I guarantee you, after this reign is over, he's going to be like Jack Swagger, where he's not going to really be shit after he drops the title. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's kind of depressing. It's kind of depressing to see that Jinder Mahal not only is a shitty champion, but he's probably going to be put in the position that he was before he became the champion after he drops it. He's going to be a jobber to the stars again. And you know what? Hopefully that doesn't happen. Like, I wish the best for Jinder Mahal. But good God, please take that championship off of him. Well, that's all I gotta say. Here's to hoping that Jinder Mahal doesn't stay WWE champion until WrestleMania 34. So this is Undertaker Largest Fan. See you guys later.